8 Subtle Signs That Prove You're Truly Strong, inspired by Anthony Hopkins. The quiet strength within you. Strength is often associated with power, dominance, or visible resilience, but true strength operates in a different dimension. It is quiet, unshakable, and deeply personal. It is the ability to navigate life's challenges with composure and wisdom, even when the world fails to recognize your endurance. Many people believe strength must be demonstrated loudly, through grand gestures or bold actions. Yet, the most profound strength lies in subtlety, in the ability to endure hardships without complaint, to remain composed in the face of chaos, and to persevere without the need for validation. Think of a tree standing alone in the middle of a storm. It does not shout or fight against the wind. Instead, it bends, adapts, and ultimately remains rooted. This is the essence of quiet strength. It is not about overpowering obstacles but about moving through them with resilience and wisdom. Quiet strength is often misunderstood, even by those who possess it. Society tends to celebrate the loud, the bold, and the outspoken, but there is immense power in the ability to endure without making a spectacle. A person who can maintain their integrity and grace under pressure, without seeking recognition or external validation, embodies a form of strength that is both rare and admirable. Consider an individual who faces personal hardships yet continues to show kindness. Who experiences failure but refuses to be defined by it. Who remains steadfast in their values despite opposition. These are the true markers of inner strength, expressed not through words, but through actions, patience, and unwavering resolve. If you have ever doubted your own strength, pause for a moment and reflect on the challenges you have overcome. Strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes, it exists quietly within you, waiting to be acknowledged. 1. Resilience in the face of adversity. True strength is not about avoiding hardship but about how you respond when life demands the most from you. It is the power to endure, to adapt, and to keep moving forward even when the odds are against you. Resilience is often romanticized as an extraordinary ability, something only possessed by exceptional individuals. But in reality, resilience is not about grand heroics. It is about the small, daily acts of perseverance that define a person's character. It is about waking up each morning, despite exhaustion, and choosing to keep going. It is about facing rejection and still daring to try again. It is about finding a way forward even when every logical path seems blocked. Imagine a storm approaching. The winds howl, the rain pours relentlessly. Many would feel powerless against such overwhelming force. But the strong remain firm, bending but never breaking. Resilience is not the absence of struggle, it is the ability to stand tall despite it. Like the deeply rooted bamboo that sways with the storm rather than resisting it. Resilient individuals understand that flexibility is not weakness but a survival strategy. Modern society, with its glorification of instant success, often overlooks the power of resilience. We admire overnight sensations but ignore the years of silent effort that led to their breakthroughs. We celebrate victories but rarely acknowledge the relentless persistence behind them. A struggling artist who continues to create despite years of financial hardship. An entrepreneur who faces repeated failures but refuses to quit. A single parent juggling multiple responsibilities without losing hope. These are examples of resilience in its purest form. Psychologically, resilience is not simply about enduring suffering, it is about transforming adversity into growth. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, once wrote that those who find meaning in suffering can endure almost anything. This highlights a crucial truth. Resilience is not just the ability to survive but the ability to extract wisdom from hardship. Strong individuals do not view difficulties as unfair burdens but as opportunities to develop deeper insight, patience, and strength. However, resilience is not blind endurance. It does not mean tolerating toxic environments or accepting suffering without question. True resilience includes knowing when to fight and when to let go. It means having the wisdom to distinguish between battles worth enduring and situations that demand a change of course. It is not about stubbornness but about intelligent perseverance, choosing to keep moving forward in a way that aligns with one's values and ultimate goals. The paradox of resilience is that it often goes unnoticed. Society rewards visible success, not the silent struggles that pave the way for it. Yet, Those who truly understand strength recognize that the ability to endure, to rise after each fall, and to continue forward despite uncertainty is the ultimate proof of resilience. The next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, is this an obstacle meant to break you, or is it an opportunity to prove your strength? Often, the answer lies not in the external situation but in how you choose to respond. True strength is not about avoiding hardship but about how you respond when life demands the most from you. It is the power to endure, to adapt, and to keep moving forward even when the odds are against you. 2. Mastering emotional control. One of the greatest indicators of strength is emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate emotions rather than being controlled by them. True strength does not manifest through explosive reactions. It reveals itself in the capacity to stay composed in situations that trigger anger, frustration, or fear. Emotional control is often mistaken for emotional suppression. Many believe that to be strong means to feel nothing, to push emotions aside, and to present an unshakable facade. But this is a dangerous misconception. True emotional mastery is not about denying emotions but about understanding them, recognizing their influence and choosing how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Imagine a person in a heated argument. The instinctual reaction might be to lash out, to defend their position aggressively, or to raise their voice in an attempt to dominate the conversation. Yet, a truly strong individual pauses. They assess their emotions, consider the bigger picture, and respond with clarity rather than impulse. This does not mean they suppress their feelings. It means they harness them in a way that serves them rather than enslaves them. Emotional control is an invaluable skill in leadership, relationships, and personal growth. Consider a great leader facing a crisis. If they allow panic to consume them, their team will follow suit, leading to chaos. However, if they maintain composure, assess the situation logically, and respond with a clear mind, they inspire confidence and guide others through uncertainty. This ability to remain steady amid turmoil is what differentiates those who are truly strong from those who merely appear strong. Modern society, paradoxically, both rewards and punishes emotional expression. We are encouraged to be authentic, yet we are also expected to maintain professionalism and restraint. Social media, for example, amplifies emotional responses. Outrage spreads faster than measured discourse. Impulsive reactions garner more attention than thoughtful reflection. In such an environment, mastering emotional control is not just a strength, it is a necessity. One of the greatest paradoxes of emotional intelligence is that those who possess it often go unnoticed. Their calm demeanor in moments of stress does not demand attention. Their ability to navigate conflicts with grace does not make for dramatic headlines. Yet, these are the individuals who hold the greatest power, because they are not at the mercy of their emotions or external pressures. Developing emotional control requires deep self-awareness. It is about recognizing what triggers us, understanding why we feel the way we do, and learning to create space between emotion and reaction. Meditation, mindfulness, and reflective practices can help cultivate this ability, allowing us to approach life with a sense of balance rather than being tossed around by every emotional wave. In a world that encourages impulsivity, the ability to pause and respond with wisdom is a radical form of strength. It is not about being emotionless but about being emotionally wise. The next time you feel anger, frustration, or fear rising within you, ask yourself, is this reaction serving me? More often than not, the strongest response is the one made with intention, not impulse. 3. The strength of compassion. In a world that often glorifies self-interest and individual success, compassion is an underrated form of strength. Many perceive kindness as a sign of weakness, as if to be compassionate means to be naive or overly sensitive. Yet, the ability to extend understanding and support, even in the face of adversity, is one of the most profound demonstrations of strength a person can exhibit. Compassion is not a passive quality, it is an active force that requires deep emotional intelligence, patience, and resilience. It is easy to be kind when life is going well, but true strength is shown when one chooses compassion despite experiencing personal hardships. A truly strong person does not withhold kindness because they have suffered, rather, they use their own struggles to better understand and uplift others. Consider the paradox of power and empathy. Society often equates dominance with strength. Yet history has shown that the most impactful leaders were those who led with compassion. Nelson Mandela, for instance, spent 27 years in prison under an oppressive regime but emerged not with hatred, but with a vision of unity and reconciliation. His ability to extend compassion not only to his people but also to those who once oppressed him is a testament to the immense power that lies in understanding and forgiveness. On a smaller scale, compassion manifests in the everyday choices we make. It is seen in the individual who takes time to listen rather than judge, who offers support without expecting anything in return, and who chooses understanding over retaliation. This strength is particularly evident in relationships, whether familial, romantic, or professional, where patience, empathy, and the willingness to forgive become the pillars of deep and lasting connections. However, true compassion does not equate to self-sacrifice or allowing oneself to be taken advantage of. Many struggle with setting boundaries, fearing that doing so makes them less compassionate. But the truth is, real compassion includes wisdom. It recognizes when to give and when to step back. A person who is truly strong in their compassion knows the difference between helping someone grow and enabling harmful behavior. They understand that protecting their own well-being is not selfish, but necessary in order to continue giving in a meaningful way. Furthermore, compassion requires a profound understanding of human nature. It is easy to judge others for their flaws, mistakes, or actions, but a compassionate person looks deeper. They recognize that every individual carries burdens, and that many destructive behaviors stem from pain rather than malice. This does not mean excusing harmful actions, but rather approaching conflicts with a mindset that seeks resolution rather than escalation. In a world driven by competition, where strength is often measured by external achievements, compassion serves as a quiet rebellion. It is the strength to remain kind in a society that encourages cold efficiency. It is the power to see beyond the surface, to acknowledge the struggles of others, and to extend a hand even when it is not required. This is not weakness, it is the very essence of true strength. 4. The power of self-sufficiency. True strength is found in self-sufficiency, the ability to stand firm in who you are without relying on external validation. It is the quiet confidence of knowing your worth and trusting yourself even when the world fails to acknowledge your abilities. In a society that thrives on comparison and external approval, choosing self-sufficiency is an act of defiance. It means measuring success by your own standards rather than by societal expectations. Self-sufficient individuals do not seek approval to feel validated, they understand that their value comes from within. However, self-sufficiency is often misunderstood. Some equate it with isolation or an unwillingness to accept help. But true self-sufficiency is not about cutting oneself off from others. It is about developing an inner foundation so strong that one's sense of worth is not dictated by external influences. A self-sufficient person can engage with the world fully, collaborate, and connect with others without feeling dependent on their validation or approval. Take, for instance, an artist who creates for the sake of expression rather than fame. They do not tailor their work to fit mainstream expectations or chase trends for recognition. Instead, they remain true to their artistic vision, knowing that their work holds value regardless of whether it is celebrated by others. This is the power of self-sufficiency, finding fulfillment from within rather than seeking it externally. The paradox of self-sufficiency is that, although it is rooted in independence, it actually enhances relationships. When you no longer rely on others to define your worth, your interactions become healthier. You engage with people not out of need but out of genuine connection. You give freely without expectation, and you stand firm in your values even when faced with opposition. But self-sufficiency requires deep self-awareness. It is a path of constant self-examination, understanding what truly matters to you, what fuels your passion, and what principles you refuse to compromise on. It demands courage, as walking alone, at times, can be difficult. The world conditions us to seek approval, to conform, to measure our worth based on external success markers. To break free from this conditioning requires a level of mental strength that not everyone is willing to cultivate. Ironically, self-sufficiency does not mean rejecting support. A truly self-sufficient person understands the value of interdependence. They recognize when collaboration is beneficial, when advice is needed, and when to accept kindness without feeling lesser for it. They do not see accepting help as weakness but as a strategic choice. In a world where validation is often sought through social media, job titles, or societal expectations, the ability to derive fulfillment from within is a revolutionary act. It is the ability to walk your own path, make choices aligned with your core values, and remain unwavering in your beliefs despite external pressure. True strength is not about being unaffected by the world. It is about engaging with the world without being controlled by it. Self-sufficiency is not isolation, it is freedom. It is the ability to navigate life with an unshakable inner compass. One that leads not toward the approval of others, but toward the fulfillment of your own purpose. 5. Grace under pressure. Pressure reveals character. While many crumble under stress, those with true strength remain composed and focused. They do not let fear dictate their actions. Instead, they navigate difficult situations with clarity, making decisions that align with their long-term vision rather than reacting impulsively to immediate challenges. Grace under pressure is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about managing them with wisdom. The misconception that strength means being unaffected by stress leads many to believe that composure equates to detachment. In reality, those who exhibit grace under pressure feel every ounce of stress and uncertainty. But they choose to respond with intention rather than letting the pressure control them. Imagine an emergency room doctor in the middle of a crisis. Chaos unfolds around them, patients in critical condition, nurses rushing, decisions that must be made in split seconds. A doctor who succumbs to panic risks making fatal mistakes, but one who remains composed, systematically evaluating each situation, makes choices that save lives. Their strength is not in being immune to stress, but in their ability to remain effective despite it. This principle applies far beyond high-stakes environments. Consider the leader navigating a corporate downfall, the parent maintaining stability for their child amid financial hardship, or the student facing a defining exam. In each case, the ability to remain level-headed determines the outcome. The modern world paradoxically both demands and discourages grace under pressure. Society glorifies the idea of hustle culture, encouraging people to constantly push beyond their limits. At the same time, it normalizes burnout, as if breaking down under stress is an unavoidable consequence of ambition. The truly strong, however, understand that endurance is not about running until collapse. It is about pacing oneself wisely, knowing when to push forward and when to pause for recalibration. The paradox of grace under pressure is that it often goes unnoticed. When a person handles difficulty with calmness, their effort appears effortless. The world only sees the results, not the internal battles fought to maintain composure. Yet, this silent mastery of stress is one of the highest forms of strength. It influences not only personal well-being but also the stability of those around them. Cultivating grace under pressure requires practice. It involves developing mindfulness, learning to regulate emotions, and building mental endurance. Breathing techniques, visualization, and reframing perspectives are tools often used by high performers in every field to maintain their composure in stressful situations. In a society that often rewards reactionary behavior, where social media thrives on outrage, where impulsive decisions are mistaken for boldness, the ability to pause, assess, and act with clarity is a radical strength. Those who master this skill do not just survive challenges, they transform them into opportunities for growth and wisdom. The next time you face a moment of intense pressure, ask yourself, am I reacting, or am I responding? True strength lies in the ability to remain composed, to navigate storms with both resilience and wisdom, and to emerge not just unscathed, but stronger than before. 6. The power of letting go. One of the greatest tests of strength is knowing when to walk away. Holding on to what no longer serves you is easy, whether it be toxic relationships, self-destructive habits, or outdated beliefs, but true strength lies in releasing what no longer aligns with your growth. Letting go is not about giving up, it is about prioritizing your peace. It requires deep self-awareness and the ability to recognize when something is holding you back. Many fear the uncertainty that comes with change, but those who are truly strong embrace it, knowing that growth often requires making difficult choices. In society, persistence is often praised as an ultimate virtue. We are taught to never give up, to fight for what we love, and to prove our loyalty. But what if true wisdom sometimes lies in recognizing when to let go? What if clinging to something only because of past investment is actually keeping us stagnant? This is the paradox of letting go. It can feel like defeat. But in reality, it is often the first step toward true liberation. Imagine someone staying in a job they despise because they have already spent years building a career in that field. They convince themselves that quitting would be foolish, that all their past effort would go to waste. But what they fail to realize is that clinging to something that no longer serves them is preventing them from discovering a path that truly aligns with their passions and purpose. The truly strong person is not the one who endures misery indefinitely, but the one who has the courage to walk away and create something better. The same applies to relationships. Many remain in unhealthy relationships out of fear of loneliness, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown. They convince themselves that staying is a sign of commitment, when in reality, it may be a sign of insecurity. The strength to let go is not about abandoning people carelessly. It is about recognizing when a relationship has become more of a burden than a source of growth. It is understanding that loving someone does not always mean staying with them. It sometimes means walking away for the sake of both parties' well-being. Psychologists call this phenomenon the sunk cost fallacy. People resist letting go of something because they have already invested time, energy, or emotions into it. But this is a flawed way of thinking. Just because you have spent years in a situation does not mean you should spend the rest of your life in it. True strength is the ability to make decisions based on the present and future, not on the weight of past investment. Letting go is not just about external circumstances, it is also about internal limitations. We all carry beliefs, habits, and thought patterns that no longer serve us. Some people hold on to guilt, shame, or resentment for years, allowing these emotions to shape their identity. But why should a past mistake define who you are today? Why should an old wound dictate your future happiness? The strong person understands that personal evolution requires shedding layers of the past and making room for new growth. Letting go requires trust in oneself, trust in the future, and trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you are willing to step into the unknown rather than remain trapped by familiarity. It is one of the most profound and empowering acts of strength a person can practice. The next time you feel torn between holding on and letting go, ask yourself, is this serving my growth, or is it holding me back? More often than not, the answer will lead you toward freedom. 7. The strength of quiet confidence. Loud confidence demands attention, but quiet confidence commands respect. Those who possess true inner strength do not seek recognition. They trust in their abilities without the need to boast or seek approval. Quiet confidence is often misunderstood in a world that rewards visibility. Society encourages people to assert themselves loudly, to market their strengths, and to seek constant validation. Yet, the most powerful individuals are often those who do not need to announce their worth. They walk into a room with an unshakable presence, not because they demand attention, but because they radiate an undeniable inner security. What makes quiet confidence so powerful? Unlike arrogance, which thrives on comparison, or insecurity, which depends on external reassurance, quiet confidence is self-sustaining. It is rooted in self-awareness, the deep understanding of one's strengths and weaknesses without the need for external validation. A person with quiet confidence does not feel threatened by the success of others, nor do they need to prove their worth through exaggerated displays. Instead, they focus on mastery, on refining their skills and deepening their understanding of themselves and the world around them. Consider the example of a seasoned martial artist. A true master does not feel the need to prove their skill in every encounter. They do not boast about their ability or engage in unnecessary conflicts. Their confidence is evident in their controlled movements, their composure, and their ability to remain calm under pressure. The strongest individuals are often those who say the least but whose presence speaks volumes. Quiet confidence also brings an advantage in decision-making. Those who possess it are not easily swayed by public opinion or external pressure. They do not seek approval before taking action. They trust their judgment and move forward with conviction. In contrast, those who lack inner confidence often hesitate, second-guessing themselves based on the opinions of others. This is why true leaders are often those who can stand firm in their decisions without needing constant reassurance. Ironically, quiet confidence can sometimes be mistaken for indifference. Because these individuals do not seek validation, they may appear detached or reserved. However, their strength lies in their ability to act without the need for recognition. They are not concerned with proving their worth because they already know it. The world often confuses loudness with competence, mistaking noise for leadership and self-promotion for ability. But the most respected figures in history are often those who led not with words, but with their actions. A truly confident person does not need to dominate conversations or assert superiority. They listen more than they speak, and when they do speak, their words carry weight because they are backed by deep understanding and experience. To cultivate quiet confidence, one must develop self-trust. This means embracing failure as a learning experience, letting go of the need for constant reassurance, and refining one's skills without seeking applause. It requires an internal shift from seeking validation to cultivating true self-mastery. The next time you feel the need to prove yourself, ask, am I acting from true confidence? Or am I seeking external validation? The strongest individuals are not those who shout the loudest, but those who move through the world with an unshakable sense of self. 8. The power of adaptability. Life is unpredictable. Those who resist change often suffer the most, while those who adapt find new paths to success. Adaptability is not about passively accepting fate but about actively adjusting to new realities and making the most of them. In an era where change is constant, adaptability is one of the most underrated yet crucial strengths. Society often celebrates stability, treating change as something to be feared. We are conditioned to seek security in routines, fixed identities, and predictable environments. Yet, history proves that those who thrive are not the strongest or the most intelligent, but those who can adjust to evolving circumstances. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution states it best: it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. The ability to adapt is often mistaken for passivity, as if adjusting to change means surrendering to it. But true adaptability is an active process. It requires awareness, resilience, and the willingness to evolve. Those who resist change are often shackled by their past successes, refusing to innovate because they fear losing what they already have. But the world does not stop moving, and clinging to outdated ways of thinking or doing things only leads to stagnation. Consider the business world. Companies that refuse to evolve with technological advancements eventually become obsolete. Blockbuster fell while Netflix adapted. Traditional bookstores struggled while Amazon revolutionized the book industry. The lesson here is clear: adaptability is survival. But this principle extends beyond business. It applies to every aspect of life. Take personal identity. For example, many people define themselves by rigid labels: their job title, social status, or past achievements. But what happens when life forces them out of these roles? A person who identifies solely as a corporate executive may feel lost after retirement. An athlete whose career ends due to injury may spiral into an identity crisis if they cannot adapt to a new path. True strength lies in the ability to redefine oneself when circumstances shift. On a psychological level, adaptability is deeply connected to emotional intelligence. It requires letting go of ego, embracing discomfort, and being willing to learn. When faced with an unexpected setback, a failed relationship, a career shift, or a personal loss, an adaptable person does not see it as the end. Instead, they view it as a transition, an opportunity to pivot and grow in a new direction. Paradoxically, adaptability does not mean being directionless or without principles. The strongest individuals hold firm to their core values while remaining flexible in their approach. They understand that while their goals may remain the same, the paths to achieving them may change. They do not let pride or fear prevent them from adjusting to new opportunities. So how does one cultivate adaptability? The key lies in maintaining an open mind and a willingness to experiment. Those who embrace lifelong learning, who seek out new experiences, and who challenge their own beliefs are the ones who thrive. They do not fear uncertainty, they learn to navigate it with curiosity and confidence. In a world where change is the only constant, adaptability is the most powerful asset you can develop. The ability to evolve, To shift perspectives, and to move forward without fear is the ultimate expression of strength. The next time life presents you with unexpected change, ask yourself, am I resisting? Or am I evolving? True strength is not about holding onto what was, but about embracing what can be. Conclusion. The silent force that shapes greatness. Strength is not always loud. It does not always demand attention. True strength is the quiet force that propels you forward, the resilience that keeps you standing, the wisdom that guides you in moments of uncertainty. In a world that often mistakes volume for confidence and visibility for value, it is easy to overlook the immense power of those who move with quiet determination. Society teaches us that strength must be proven, that it requires grand gestures, external validation, and public recognition. But the deepest strength is the kind that needs no audience. It is the strength of the individual who rises after every fall, who finds peace amidst chaos, who leads without seeking applause, and who dares to evolve in the face of adversity. There is a paradox at the heart of strength. Those who truly possess it rarely feel the need to demonstrate it. A river does not need to shout to carve through mountains, and a flame does not need to boast to provide warmth. Strength reveals itself in persistence, in discipline, in the willingness to adapt, and in the courage to stand alone when necessary. It is found in those who listen before they speak, who seek wisdom rather than validation, and who measure their worth not by external approval but by the integrity of their actions. Think of the strongest people you know, not just those who are outwardly successful, but those who have endured, grown, and remained steadfast despite life's challenges. They are the ones who carry their burdens with dignity, who navigate hardship with grace, and who continue to move forward even when the path is uncertain. Their strength is not in the noise they make, but in the quiet impact they leave behind. So if you recognize yourself in these signs, know that you are already strong. Your power does not need to be proven to anyone. It exists in your ability to endure, to grow, to adapt, and to move forward with quiet determination. Embrace this strength, for it is the foundation upon which you will build a life of true resilience and inner peace. And remember, the most powerful forces in this world, time, wisdom, love, and change, move in silence. So does true strength. If you found this message valuable, consider joining our journey at Practical Philosophy, a community dedicated to deep thinking, self-discovery, and wisdom. Subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking insights and discussions on personal growth, resilience, and the philosophy of life. Let's continue exploring the deeper truths of existence together.